Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Challenger Mode Sunday Brawl Triple X. We're about to jump into the semi-finals between Taxman eSports and the last Exile. Should be an exciting matchup, of course. The winner of this match will go on into our best of three finals to play for the grand prize and, of course, the prestigious title of Sunday Brawl Champion. My name is Darcy. Joining me, of course, is Challenger Mode Daniel. What are you going to make of this matchup?
Well, I mean, this matchup for me is summarized by the term Panama Papers. Okay, we've got the last exile, someone who's exiled, hiding away from paying away their taxes. And then on the other side, we've got Taxman eSports. They're hunting down the exile. They want the money back. You know, there's going to be no hiding from, the Taxman in this one. But I think it is going to be an interesting game in terms of what we've got. They're similarly skilled teams, and I like it when we get a nice balanced game. And whilst we have seen the last Exile before, albeit a little while ago, and with I think a couple of different people on the team, I have to say Taxman eSports, I've not seen these guys around much before, so it'll be curious to see what surprises they've got in store for us.
For sure, and of course, for you guys watching at home, we are doing a bit of a giveaway today, partnering up with Roccat to give away a bit of swag. And so, if you stick around to the finals, straight after, we will be giving away some stuff for both the people watching at home and a random player from today who competed in the tournament and also get a bit of swag as well. So something to look forward to if you weren't already just looking forward to the fantastic games we have lined up on the Challenger Mode Sunday Brawl Triple X today. But enough of me yapping on. It's time to get underway with Champ Select. And, well, they're going out already. It's going to be that Vladimir and Graves banned away already.
Yeah, I mean, the Vlad, as we said earlier, no great surprise. Just such a handful at the moment. Impossible to kill, and then later on into the game, just such a ridiculous amount of damage as well. So no great surprise to see Vladimir off. Graves, we talked earlier about the strong junglers are out there at the moment. Graves definitely is one of those junglers, but I'm taking it off of the table. There's still so many others that are out there. I mean, one of the weird things with the jungle pool at the moment is that I think there are so many viable options. Can you ban it effectively? I don't know.
Last Exile certainly giving it their best shot. Maybe not banning the most important junglers. Graves, I can see being a decent ban, but Hecarim, on the other hand, is a bit more of a niche pick. Still love seeing that pony raging around the rift super fast with the ghost changes. It's definitely something to be scared of. We're going to see a Talia ban against Mew. We haven't seen much Talia in this tournament here, and going to get rounded off by Nas. So red side being banned out, by the looks of it. Every red champion just banned away there.
I was just thinking there's a nice colour message going on here. There we go, guys. If you weren't aware, Autumn 2016 is all about banning out the reds. Yeah, bring those other colours into your lives, darling. We've got the red side having all the red champs banned away, and the red team themselves, they have had a good go at banning out some of those blue champions. We've got Hecarim off, and we've got the Zillion that's been banned out as well. But let's see where this goes. With the Gnar off the table there, let's not talk about hovers. I nearly got into it. Let's talk about junglers again for a second then. So with the Graves off the table and the Hecarim off the table, we've still got a number of these major jungle options that are out there. The likes of Rek'Sai, the likes of Nidalee, the likes of Gragas and things like that. And I think one of the things with the different junglers that you've got out there and available is that there are just so many different options out there that you can fundamentally resort to picking. Now, I know that the jungler here for I want to call it Taxman. Yeah, it is Taxman. I know the jungler for Taxman here. Wow, we have to practice this one, aren't we? Retutaya. Please, Twitch chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
Retutaja.
Retutaja. Okay, Retutaja. Well, I know Retutaja actually has quite an interesting pocket pick in terms of junglers, which is that he actually plays quite a bit of Nautilus jungle. So I'll be curious to see whether that one appears. But we've had the Echo locked in. We've talked loads and loads about Echo before, and he's just, so mobile, so much damage, so much engaged, but also escape potential. He's a real handful to deal with. And on the other side, we see the Nidalee locked into the jungle, so we'll be able to see another Nidalee jungle, and the Karma. And the Karma obviously is this flex pick. It can go into the mid lane, but it can also drop down into the support role, and is actually, being effective in both positions, in a hell of a lot of high ELO gaming right now.
For sure. Have to see where that Echo goes. Usually the top lane Echo, hardly ever see it in the jungle. Every now and again you will see someone grace us with a bit of Echo mid, but that makes things even harder to predict with the Olaf being locked in here. Usually you see Olaf in the top lane as well, so one of these guys are going to go to the jungle. If I had to throw my prediction out, it will be the Olaf, but Anivia locked in, one of these top lane giant, mid lane giants at the moment. Some people, they can whip out the bird and they can play it quite well, others not so quite. Definitely a strong control mage in this current meta.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to actually see Anivia returning because, there's been... It's kind of one of those champs that, was really, really prevalent and around for all sorts of, for such a long period of time. But she sort of made a disappearance and has come back to the forefront now. And I think it's nice to see. Who knows? Perhaps, Froggen might start playing it a little bit, and we can get the old bird dance out from the famous Dane again.
It's obviously a possibility.
And I'm inclined to agree. I think this Olaf is going to go into the jungle. I think it is going to be an Olaf jungle. So we've got the Shen going into the top lane. Shen into...
Echo. This is a interesting matchup because Echo is one of the few champions that does well against Shen, is able to whittle down the health bar. Shen is one of those kind of brick walls in the top lane. You play Shen. You don't play Shen to win lane. You play Shen to just, do well and of course support your team where it matters the most. Shen doesn't win lane, but he doesn't also lose lane very easily unless you're against certain counter picks, and Echo is one of those. So definitely an interesting choice to pick the Shen into a counter matchup, but of course Rinquo, he can just look to play a safe game and not go too aggressive, not play too far up, and should be able to have the same effects of a Shen as we normally see.
It certainly is going to be a curious one. And talking about other curious picks, we see the Soraka locked in. And I think this is the first Soraka you and I have cast for a long time. But Soraka Ezreal. Ezreal, who's not a particularly prominent AD carry at the moment.
I would disagree entirely on that. Ezreal is one of the flavors of the month at the moment.
I mean... I suppose he is a flavour of the month right now, but he kind of goes away from the traditional sort of styles of AD carries that we've got used to in the latter half of patch 6. I mean, what the Soraka pick? Oh wow! And now the Zyra locked in as well, so it is going to be Karma mid lane and Zyra support. Okay, we got some curiosities going on here. Lots of interesting picks in this game, at least for me. We've got Karma involved, which I love because obviously Karma is my favourite champion. We've got Zyra, who is a champion that is a curious one because some people sort of have it as a pocket pick in terms of support. Then we've got the Soraka, which we haven't seen lots of, particularly within Challenger Mode tournaments, and the Anivia that's made a resurgence, and then an Olaf jungle. We got lots of interesting picks going on in this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hard one, and I have to question the composition coming out of Taxman eSports because, well, what are they meant to be doing with this Olaf? I guess they could jump onto the Zyra, and that's going to be a damage dealer down. But the Karma can piece on out. She has a lot of mobility available to her. The Tristana is able to rocket jump away from the Olaf, so really you're only using the Olaf to go against one person. And so when you pick it so early in the draft, it definitely makes the picking on the other team a little bit easier, because they can go, right, well, there's an Olaf on the other team, let's not pick an immobile carry because we don't want to get caught out by them. Equally, look at the two carries for the team. You've got Anivia and Ezreal. Both these champions need to scale up, both going to be building Tear of the Goddess, which makes things very hard for Taxman eSports to start to scale up into the game. So a lot of question marks above Taxman eSports squad. I don't mind the picks themselves, individually, but when put together, you've got a composition that, you need to nail correctly, or you're going to be punished.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, the flip side to that is, obviously you got Triss, who starts quite nicely, but then has a drop off in the mid game before becoming this explosive long-range monster AD carry towards the end. And Karma, similarly, quite damaging at the start of the game, but then drops off as she enters into her more supporty capacity. So I think Exile are going to be looking to try and push this one home before this Anivia and this Ezreal start to come online. And they've got the power to actually do it. With the picks that they've got, with the support from the jungle, from this Nidalee, and also with the cross map plays enabled by Shen, both with his teleport and obviously with his ultimate. So I think Exile are obviously going to be looking to push this quickly and hard and try and get an advantage and snowball it and finish it before this Ezreal and before this Anivia have managed to get themselves online.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Lots of early game presence available for the red side. Last Exile looking to just crush their opponents before they get a chance to scale up into this late game. But if Taxmen are able to play the long con, then very possibly they will have a composition that just puts out so much damage that really the Tristana is not going to be able to deal with as the game gets on. Of course, Tristana does scale up quite nicely into the late game, but as the game does go on and things become a bit more harder for you guys, then, well, you have to really question these compositions. One playing for the early game, one playing for the late game. Which one is going to come out on top?
Hashtag early, hashtag late. Let us know in the Twitch chat, everybody. Whilst we got the Twitch chat going on, let's say hello to Yanip here, who's joined us in Twitch chat. Thanks very much for having you along. It's good to see you here supporting us. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, Challenger Mode have recently gone into partnership with Yanip here and Acclamator. You can find them on their channel, twitch.tv/CG Acclamator. You can also follow them on social media at the Akla Nugget and at Yanapir. We're going to be doing things with them on the Challenger Mode platform in terms of viewer games, and also probably in the long run we'll have some various tournaments and bits and bobs. So go and give them some support and love. Also, to remind everybody, we've got the Sunday Brawl Triple X tournament tonight, sponsored by Roccat. We're going to have a giveaway for one of the players and for one of the lucky viewers. So if you stay in Twitch and view it through to the end of the final, you'll be in with a chance to win yourself some Roccat goodies. But we are on to the Rift, and I will hand it over to my beautiful, beautiful colleague Dowsey, as he can sit and tell us what's going on.
Nothing of too much interest, Daniel. It is going to be a 5-point defense, really, for Last Exile. Not quite the same for the Taxman squad. I'm liking the pings going out by Last Exile. A couple pings onto the Nexus, just letting everyone know that's the target for today. Kill the Nexus and you win the game.
Yeah, this is where we're going to be going. Ultimately, this is the destination that we want to be looking out for. Oh, and we got, well, there we go. I mean, we should stop it there, really. Flashy's proved that he's got the flashy plays as he throws out the time winder, and whilst he didn't quite get first blood, I think we can agree that that definitely is going to have a huge impact.
Well, maybe not. I do like the Doran shield onto Rinku. Doran's shield recently, or I said recently, got changed a decent while ago, but with these changes you don't quite see the full effect of them until later on into the patches. But it now blocks single target attacks as well as... is it single target attacks or just all attacks?
It's attacks and spells.
Yeah, exactly. So spells and attacks.
But it's single target attacks and spells. It was my understanding of it, which I thought was a curious one.
Means that the phase dive from Ezreal won't do so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I suspect you probably hopefully won't see Ezreal until later on.
Echo
by which
even.
time, yeah.
Echo.
Oh, of course, Echo, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice item, and it got a little bit of love.
It also means that the passive from Echo does less damage, as the passive is technically a single target in the way it works.
The Siege, I suppose it is actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it only affects one person at a time, so...
In which case, maybe this shield's going to have more of an impact anyway. But I mean, as we've already discussed, you know, this Echo just has such a situation where we can sort of poke out and do this damage from range and get out and just slowly farm up and win lane. But talking about winning lane, you know, Ezreal pushed this lane in against Tristana really hard early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Got himself quite a decent CS lead already. Just trying to put down the pressure, and with the Soraka they can play quite far back, just play the poke game, try and do damage. Good stuff coming out of Rinquo to put down that auto attack shroud, I guess it's called, to prevent the phase dive from doing any extra damage. It means the passive does no damage as well. Like, there are little tricks to Shen that help you out in this matchup, and Flashy does fall victim to the mechanics of Rinquo, then he's not going to have as easy of a time. And the way this wave's pushing as well, Rinquo pushing it into the turret so that it makes things harder for Flashy. If he does want to fight, then he has to do so in minion wave. It just puts the pressure onto the Echo.
Yeah, and you know, especially at this early level, early part of the game, you know, the minions actually, you know, I mean, let's not underestimate the power of Winions. Winions can do a lot of damage at this point. But yeah, I mean, the refuge that Shen can give himself, you know, obviously using the W, the intrinsic part of Shen's build since his changes, you know, does mean that he can sort of ignore or negate a lot of this damage. But we've got a gank coming in.
Flash from you to escape away from it. There's going to be a lot of damage put onto this Olaf, in fact. So you quite happy with just going the extra mile there and putting down the hurt. Means that Retu Jaja is going to have to go back to base, heal up. Of course, this Olaf, you don't really expect too much from him anyway till level 6.
Just the word Jar Jar makes me shudder slightly because
Retu
of a
Aja.
certain...
It's Ret
Yes.
Ut Aja. Ret Utaja. I'm going to call him Retu. Retu.
Yeah, I don't know where this team are from, but based on several of the names, I'm guessing there are some Finnish connections here, because Retutaja looks Finnish, so does Kalmato and Janpo with the double P. That sort of screams Finnish to me as well. So maybe we've got some friends from our Nordic, well, from the Nordic states. But Cheesy, nice name by the way. We like Cheesy.
Easy.
But, yeah, Easy Cheesy. Sort of tanks up a couple of the Ezreal shots here and has to go away and chug a bit of a potion. But we see this bot lane, although you know the CS is obviously heading over to Ezreal at the moment, relatively even so far.
Well, no, it's never even when Ezreal gets a CS lead. Like, a CS lead for Ezreal is such a win, you know, even if it's small, because that's all Ezreal wants to do in lane is farm and scale.
Oh, swallows a spear there.
Yeah, it's going to be Akka going pretty deep for the fight, and Muse wanting to support as well. Has to back away though, no mana left on this Nidalee. And Retua in a bit of trouble, but the engage comes through from the Soraka, and now it's going to be turned around. But First Blood going to go over to Mew, and it could just be a bloodbath as well, as they're looking for the kill onto Quack and Jampa as well. But Solar Flare doesn't go anywhere, or in a flame, one of the two.
In a flame. Yeah, the inner flame doesn't go anywhere, and the javelin missed by very small amounts. But overall, we see the first blood go down onto Ratatuja, and you know, they're going to be happy having picked up their first blood, and you know, the Karma's going to be super happy of picking it up.
Bit of pressure onto this Nibia as well. Takes a lot of damage from that Mantrid E, and that hurts.
Yeah, I mean, the Mantra empowered Inner Flame does such a spike of damage. It's one of the things that I said, you know, Karma does damage early. She definitely does, because that's where you put your damage into this Inner Flame, into the Q. And that could really, really poke out and do some ludicrous amounts of damage. We're talking about ludicrous amounts of damage. There's Zyra doing what she does best, I suppose, as the plants chomp up a huge amount of health out of both the Ezreal and the Soraka.
Oh, Akka's been spotted out, and this could actually be a kill going over. No Ghost available for the Olaf, so needs to land every spear. The flash comes from Akka to get out of there, and it's going to be a summoner going over. Flashy misses the face dive. Whoops, and now he's going to get re-engaged onto the taunt comes through. Has Chrono Break available, but not going to need it just yet. And now that this Shen's hit level 7, it's going to be really hard for Flashy to really do too much. Is winning the CS war by 3, but it's not really
neither here nor there. Yeah, no. He's not even backed yet. So the Echo must have backed. He's got the Dark Seal.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, so, he has definitely backed. There's no way. And
yeah,
built a longsword first,
which is also slightly curious. But no, I mean this Shen's sat on about 2.5k gold at the moment. So I mean he's gonna go back and, you know, make a big investment here. I suspect much the same as the last game, we will see him go with the Sunfire first, because it's just such an important part of helping him clear out these minion waves.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see where he does invest the gold. It depends on how much Flashy starts hurting him in the next little bit as pushes him into the turret. These bot laners really need some help from the junglers to just try and get the wave pushed up. Really, with the Olaf bot lane, what would really help Taxman now is they sent the Olaf to the bot lane, helped him push up that lane, and then they could get the recall in, because with Jempa low on mana, really relies on those Mystic shots to get stuff happening. Oh, so much damage going on over to the bot lane. And gank in the top lane as well. Flashy in a lot of trouble. Has to use that flash and the movement speed from the Z drive to get away. Is able to do so in the end. But Jempa is in so much trouble because the way Ezreal suffers early game. Oh, never mind. Mew in trouble here and flashes away from the auto attack, but a flash comes through on beautiful wall. Mew dead. Easy peasy. First blood goes over to Cow Immaculate.
Yeah, really, well, return blood, shall we say, not quite first blood, but yeah, no, the really nice pickup. Really nice pickup. But, oh, huge. The banana clears out the minion wave.
The bigger banana?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. But, I mean, even at this stage of the game, you're already starting to see the amount of damage that the Tristana is able to put out onto this tower. She's taken it down to, you know, to a half and only looked at it for a few seconds, it seemed like.
You can see the CS starting to go back in favour of the Tristana because of the fact that Jampar was stuck on a turret with no mana for so long. Now got himself the Tear of the Goddess and a Sheen. Bit more mana in the pool for him, and of course the reduced cost as well will help out every time he does throw a Mystic shot out. But this is where jungle pressure is a beautiful thing, as we see, you know, a spear fly out to the top lane. Is you can send a jungler bot lane just to push a wave up. Once the wave gets pushed towards the turret, you can then recall, get back to lane, and by the time you're back, that wave's ready for you. You don't lose anything. So this is something that I like seeing from junglers. We don't often see it too much in Challenger Mode, just due to it being a super high concept that some junglers here haven't quite grasped yet. But we are going to see a dragon started up, and a bit of an interesting one. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a fight over it. Stan United being put onto this Tristana as they jump deep into it. The dragon is secured by the Olaf as he tries to Ragnarok away, but he's going to go down. The kill goes over to Tristana, and here comes Flashy on the backline doing so much damage. GC falls, and that's a good crucial barrage, but is able to escape back to the top lane. No planet teleport needed. Means that he gets to continue pushing up, and Rinquo will be forced to use that teleport back into the top lane. Beautiful use. In fact, the teleport gets stopped. That's going to be a lot of damage now put onto this top lane turret as it goes on cooldown, and maybe we'll see the first turret go down for Flashy as he's going to be able to start whacking away. Has that Sheen as well.
Yeah, it was just really nice play. One of the things that you sort of forget about with the Echo, and obviously the chrono break, is the fact that you forget that if you were miles away when you first sort of used it, you can go back such a long way. So he TPs in, dives in balls deep, does loads of damage, gets himself low, and then appears in the top lane to do loads of damage. So, I mean, yeah, really, really great play by the Echo there. And, the very definition of cross-map movement. He was like, yeah, Shen, you might be able to use your ultimate to get down to the bot lane. But look, I can get down, lay down the damage, and then get back way faster than you, buddy.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, as 1-for-1 trade, and Mountain Drake does go down in favor for the Taxman, so going to do a bit more damage towards those neutral objectives, 10% at the moment. Parallel Convergence does lock up Rinquo as here comes the gank in the top lane. They're looking to make things happen. A teleport, though, being channeled by Mew, and could just try and turn this one around. In fact, they're going to commit to it. Jampar in the bot lane, out of mana, and still playing super aggressive, has to go back now.
Yeah, no, it's curious. He has got his tier and his Sheen, but he seems to be chunking his way through this mana fairly quickly and effectively at the moment. But I mean, the point is with the pace of the game going as it is, we've got no towers down at this stage. It's only 2-2. It is 2-2 in kills, and things are, relatively even. You got to think that the guys here from Taxman are got to be happy with how this is looking, because they're just thinking, yeah, this is fine. As late as we can leave it. As late as we can leave it.
This first turret is going to fall in the bot lane. That's going to give a significant amount of damage and gold, over to Last Exile with the first turret blood. So that does mean that they can now start to try and snowball this into their favor. They need to make those map plays, however, and try and use it in their advantage, or else they're going to give up such a crucial bit of a lead for themselves.
Yeah, they certainly are. They certainly are. And the Zyra there, churning out a huge amount of damage with just the just this basic sort of support setup, the Frostfang and the scary amount of damage that comes out of these seed spawns right now.
Things are still quiet though. These teams are still putting pressure down. It does look like Taxman maybe putting a little bit more pressure down, and they've got such a great ward coverage as well throughout the area. So many wards littered down that bot side jungle to try and keep both the Nivea and the Ezreal safe on both sides. Of course, these guys the scale in.
So the Shen ultimately went with the Spirit Visage first, as opposed to the Sunfire cape. So he's obviously acceptant of the fact that Flashy was starting to hurt, so went with the magic resist route. But it does mean that he, without the Sunfire cape, he's obviously going to have the wave pushed even more into him, and there's going to build up this incremental damage onto this turret over time. So it's almost as though he's accepted that I've lost. Yeah, I've lost. I'm not going to be able to push this back effectively until way, way later. And so this Shen's almost certainly becoming this complete support setup now.
Yeah, and it means the CS lead's going to start stacking up for Flashy as he's got himself 20 in the lead. Able to put down the pressure. Triforce completed now for the Echo. He's going to be doing a huge chunk of damage. Look at that onto Rinquo. Just one combo. And a parallel convergence used and down half health despite the Spirit Visage and the Mercury Treads.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it is pretty crazy. But, Rinquo deciding to try and have a go back just there for a little bit.
Aka's in the top lane, and he was trying to set up the gank, but it was spotted out, and Retu going to come up to the top lane to say hi. Say, get out of my top laner's face.
No, it certainly is. It certainly is. I mean, the two junglers, I mean, I mean, we have seen obviously presence and moments, arriving in different lanes. But I have to say that I don't think there hasn't been any particularly effective shows right now from the respective junglers. I mean, they're not influencing the lane as anywhere near as much as we saw in the last game.
They're definitely struggling to do so. From the Olaf, you kind of expect it. From the Lily, not so much. Iceborne Gauntlet completed now for Genpa in the bot lane, so going to start to be laying down a bit of hurt as he gets stacking on up. Tear of the Goddess will probably be completed next. On the cards, and Flashy putting down the plays as the parallel convergence goes down. The taunt is there as well, but it doesn't do too much. Chrono Break on top of his face, and that's going to be a beautiful kill coming from Flashy. And as an Echo main myself, I saw that one coming from a mile away.
Mile away, yeah. It was a bit. I think it's fair to say it was a little bit sort of choreographed, that one. You could sort of see what was going on there, and he went down. The wall
it's
goes
great
out.
timing as well, because Steel comes through from Akka. I was going to say great timing because they can start up the Baron without Dragon without fears of a Shen coming down. But wow, look at the rage of the Olaf as he goes, screw you. I'm going to get a lovely toss of the axe over the wall, and Genpa has to be careful. Mew is on the backline just protecting the gates, but out of mana now, so they should be fairly safe. In fact, they could chase down this Karma, and the last bit of mana used for that speed up. These undertows going to start connecting, the flash over the wall, and here comes the rest of the team. Stand United gets locked up. Can they get him before the Shen comes? No, but now the Shen is in trouble as well, as the kill does go over to the Nivea, and Taxman has started to pull ahead crazily here. Infernal Dragon was stolen away, just to recap, for Akka, but they lost 3 members in the process.
Yeah, they certainly did, and I mean, there was a massive trade. The axe onto the Zyra is a pretty sick one as well, because she flashed over and that was almost blind.
Akka goes super deep. Not quite able to land the kills, but they're going to commit onto this Olaf. Just one more and they'll be able to get there. The parallel convergence there, but he's already gone, and so they can't continue following up. A beautiful Q comes out of the Nivea to try and stop the chase, but Akka, he wants more. He smells blood and he throws his spear. It is dodged away in the end, so nothing too much to cry about. But now this mid lane turret under siege, and they can go for it, but is there egg available? There is, and this is where things become a little bit tricky, as the Shraka trying to heal up through the damage, but not quite able to. No mana left on that roaming ambulance, and mid lane turret will go down, as will Kalamato's life.
Indeed. And I mean, the curious thing is that they had such a great fight, but as people respawned, we're still relatively early in the game, the spawn timers aren't too long. They pushed out from the base to catch them, on the way out, and managed to pick up a couple of kills. And what was, 1.5k gold lead has actually been evened out now, and we're even across the board, 30k for both sides, and both teams going to be happy.
Tiamat Flashy, is he playing AD Echo here? It seems like he might be. This is crazy stuff coming out of Flashy, and the double kill goes over. Maybe going to build into a
How many times do we see that?
That happens way too often, but maybe they'll just go for the sneaky 20-minute Baron instead. Seems like they're going to. They're totally going to. This is crazy stuff coming out of the Taxman as they go for a 20-minute Baron. It spawns and they're starting to chunk it down, and of course Soraka can keep everyone nice and healthy, but this is very risky. They could just start a fight up and everyone is on the backside, but Thurgon, he gets chunked down and has to rocket jump away. There's the Zyra ultimate to just knock everyone up, and this Baron gonna go down. Will it get stolen? No, it does get secured by the Taxman, and a 20-minute, 24-second Baron secured.
Well, I think that's the earliest one I've seen in quite a long time. But oh my god, Burgon was pressing that rocket jump button like crazy as he took a huge spike of damage from this Anivia. Even at this stage of the game, with the Rod of Ages up, the guys, I mean, the thing with this Anivia is that the damage that the Anivia is able to put out is just going to get higher and higher and higher. The Anivia probably about 4 or 5 minutes off of completing the full set on the tier, and Ezreal at this stage is just churning through right now on this Manamune to get it up to Muramana.
Yeah, absolutely, and starting to see some items being completed. Locket for the Soraka. to help against the double AP composition, triple AP I should say. Of course, we've got that Solaris support, so super important item coming through for the Soraka, and now Flashy looking for a kill onto Akka, misses his Q, so does make things slightly harder, but maybe able to land a good parallel convergence. He does. Mew gets caught up, but with the rest of last Exile there, he has to use that Chrono Break to piece on out. But mid lane turret under siege, and with the Baron they should be able to secure it. In fact, Mew in trouble, and now they're going to just jump onto the Karma, stand united to try and keep mid laner alive, and it will be enough in the end.
Yeah, Mew is very reliant on shields there. Pops her own, sees the Shen shield come out, and just about manages to keep herself alive. Yeah, this AD.
I'm not sure what I think of the AD Shen Echo. Oh, that parallel convergence just on the tip, and does knock up the Tristana, and saw the inner turret go down. Jampa in the bot lane just making work of it. Seems like Taxman control the map entirely, and they're just not giving up any control. Akka versus Flash Quirk jumps over to try and heal him up, and it's going to beat Akka trying to escape. There's the True Shot Barrage. It comes through, and sniped is the word, and now Cheesy in trouble. Double kill for this Ezreal, and now he's looking for more as the Olaf gets one, and that's going to be a triple kill for Jampa. The ace comes through, and they can look to take the mid lane in the turret.
I mean, that's how you like to start things off, isn't it? I'll just throw out this Ezreal ultimate, and then I'll shift over this wall and pick up another one. And oh, there's another one walking by. I've got this too, guys. And he's just been oh
wow, Bergon goodbye. Falls as the inhibitor turret falls as well. It's going to be an inhibitor going down, and well, 20-minute Barons, they seem to do a lot, don't they? All of a sudden, the gold lead is almost 10k in favor. In fact, it might be 10k after they attempt their luck at this inhibitor turret. Big spear comes out, does tag down the Soraka, but the ship wall goes up, and Kalaminato going to find another kill onto this Nidalee. The inner turret goes down, and now they can look for more. True Shot Barrage is a parting gift as the base now in tatters for Exile, and a 10k lead all of a sudden for the Taxman.
So when they picked up that Baron, they had themselves about a 1,500 gold, 2,000 gold lead. They've just jumped to all the way up to near as damn it 10k, and I think it's fair to say that was a pretty decent Baron all in all, wasn't it, for a 20-minute Baron? Ridiculous amounts of work done. They've taken out in total, I think it's 4 turrets. It might even be 5 turrets and an inhibitor, and then escalated the kill score to 15-4. And they're going to go back now and spend up big, and they're picking up some huge items. Of course, the Shen at this stage is thinking, damn, I went Spirit Visage, and now he's pretty much gone AD. I wish I had gone with the Sunfire cape that the beautiful Challenger Mode Daniel suggested. But I mean, this is a very curious build for me from this Echo. Not conventional at all, but it's doing work at the moment.
It's something of a blue build Ezreal, I guess. The Blade of the Rune King is blued, so you can consider that. Chrono Break available. Oh, Akka looking so low. Would have done a lot of damage as well, but Flashy not looking to make that much of a flashy play, and this is going to be a very dead Soraka. You can't go into the enemy jungle like that, Soraka. You don't have that much map presence. All your map pressure is on the bot side of the map, but Jampa says it doesn't matter. You can make work of this. It's 2 versus 5 and easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, I mean 2 versus 5. When you've managed to get yourself your items built, I mean it's easy peasy, as you say. Now on a serious note, I mean you can tell they're playing without fear here at the moment. It is 4 versus 5, and they're just plowing straight on in.
Bergon takes a huge amount of damage. So does Jampa, in fact. The mentored up Q from the Karma does a lot, and I'm not sure you needed to pop that rack, but he does indeed. Inhibitor goes down in the bot lane, inner turret in the top lane, and now Flashy making mince work of the last entry point of this base. And as this all is happening, Tristana finally completes her second item, an Infinity Edge.
Happy days. I mean, this Tristana's been struggling. I mean, she hasn't got the kills onto the board like the Ezreal's managed to do. While she hasn't necessarily lost on the CS front. She hasn't been able to plow ahead and pick up these items. And, we're at level 11, and Triss is probably at her worst about now. Once she gets up to sort of 15, 16, and gets that third or fourth item build, she becomes very, very scary. But right now, Tristana is probably at her lowest point, and the reason that is fearful is that Ezreal has literally just completed Muramana, and with Muramana complete, the Gauntlet complete, Bork, if you go for that item, he's about as strong as he's going to be at any stage of the game right now.
Yeah, and Last Whisper as well to try and get through those tanky members, or just the Shen really, as he gets locked up against the wall. Takes a bit of damage, but the Sunfire is now there, so it's going to be taking a little bit less for sure, as they're trying to just put the pressure down onto this last inhibitor turret, with super minions now crashing onto these Nexus turrets. Someone's going to have to go back to deal with them, and it is going to be Vergon. Now the rest of this team can just start to do work to this inhibitor turret. It's just a matter of time, really, for the side of Taxman, as they're going to be able to complete the triple ring. There's nothing really else to take. Baron is live. They could back away and do that, but it's unnecessary, really. They've got such a good position. And in fact, look at that. The super minions, they've taken down one of the Nexus turrets as well, and they are going to say, Baron's up, let's try that. This could be a point of contention. I feel like Last Exile have to try and make a play here to stop them, but it doesn't seem like they're going to, and that's just going to be another free Baron.
Yeah, the problem is that they've only really just cleared the minions out from the base. So, it wasn't... They couldn't leave the base because the minions, as you've seen, they've already taken out one tower. There isn't the protection of the dual Nexus towers there, so they had to make sure that the minions were cleared. But in the short time that it took that, the entire team's arrived, and Anivia is doing the damage from the ultimate. We've got the Blade of the Ruin King on Ezreal, and he makes pretty short work of things. And of course, let's not underestimate the damage that Flashy's doing right now. With this AD build, he does as much sort of damage as any sort of classic AD character would, and they absolutely chunked through that. I think we're going to see.
I've just looked at Anivia has this Tear of the Goddess, and it's fully stacked. Could get the Archangels at any time, but a fight's going to brew out. It's going to be a double kill going over to Flashy, and now they're just going to try and take down the rest of the side for these guys. The Tristana has to flash on out of the base, and Kalamata going to go low, but a heal comes through. That's going to be Flashy getting his triple kill as he goes legendary. Can he get the unofficial pentakill now? It's going to be Son away. Jumper gets the kill onto Akko, and it's just Windpool left. He's going to fall down very low, as the wall will stop him from harping directly onto the fountain, but he is able to get there in the end. That's GG, well played. 30 minutes this time, and Taxman put up a fantastic fight, and well, now we have to see what they're able to do, because they're going to be up against, of course, Devious Gaming. And Devious Gaming won their quarterfinal match in 20 minutes. These guys won it in 30 minutes. 20-minute Baron. What do all these things mean, Daniel?
Well, I don't know. What I will say is this, to all of those massive multinationals that don't pay their taxes, the taxmen are out to hunt you down. And sure as hell, the taxmen went pretty strong there. Pretty epic performances across the board, to be honest with you. I'm not convinced by that Olaf pick by any stretch of the imagination, but I think everybody else, really showed up. Flashy was incredibly flashy on this Echo. Kalamato, pretty big play on the Anivia as well, and that's not to underestimate the damage that was done by Jamper there on the Ez. On the flip side, it was pretty tough. Across the board, they kind of struggled, both in terms of lanes and just sort of overall impact. I felt as though Akar didn't get the early game impact that you need from an Italy. And, Tristana was struggling to make it to the late game, which never really happened. But yeah, all in all, nice show by Exiles, but Taxmen were super strong there, and I think they're going to put up some really, really serious competition for Devious in the final. And we will be getting into that. Oh, sorry, I say Devious. I presume Devious got through. That's very presumptive of me, isn't it?
I've already announced it, Daniel. So.
No, sorry, have you? No, okay. In which case, Devious, in the final. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting final. We'll have to see how it goes.
For sure. Well, we're going to go to an 8-minute break, but when we do return, it will be the finals between Devious Gaming and Taxman eSports. And of course, if you guys want to win some Rockat swag in the chat, well, then you have to stick around, because after the finals, we will be giving away to one lucky viewer a bit of swag from Rockat. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just 8 minutes.